to the Redacted podcast, America's most beloved podcast, the most downloaded Red Sox podcast in the fucking world, Tyler!
Let's go! Come on!
The Boston Red Sox have taken 3 out of 4 from the back-to-back American League champion Kansas City Royals. They went there in 2014, didn't get the job done because it was an even year. The San Francisco Giants said, hell no, it's my turn. It's Mad Bum's year. One more time, Tyler. But the next year, they went back to the World Series and they said, you know what, Kevin Clancy, you know what, Clem, it's not your year. It's never going to be your year. It's the Royals' year.
Suck on it.
And that's when the Kansas City Royals and Johnny Gomes took home a World Series title. Eric Hosmer, Mike Moustakas, Alex Gordon, one more time.
Lorenzo
Cain, Alcides Escobar. Was James Shields on that team? I think he was. World Series champion, Kansas City Royals, Salvador Perez. He's got the tattoo to prove it. He was there. The Kansas City Royals came to Boston. They said, we're the 2015 World Series champions. What are you going to do about it? You know what the Red Sox did about it? They turned in a very mediocre performance in this series, but it was enough to take 3 out of 4 from the Kansas City Royals, capping it off with a complete game combined shut piece in one of the most boring games of the entire season. It was a 2-0 victory. One of the runs was scored on a sacrifice fly. You can't get more boring than that. Shout out to Adam Duvall. What a series.
Honestly,
what a series.
Duvall hitting that ball in between the ladder really was the best part of the entire game.
That was cool. I mean,
easily.
no. Well, I thought you were going to say the series. I mean, like the ball going in the light in the Green Monster was pretty cool. The walk-off grand slam, but even that, I mean, they cheated.
Yeah, like oh my God. The people, me and you put out a very similar tweet being like, oh, it didn't even look like a swing. The amount of idiots that ran with that and thought we were serious.
Well, I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. Literally right before this fucking podcast, I signed up for the Twitter payment thing. I am going to tweet the most toxic bullshit for the rest of my life until those Elon paychecks reach the $1 billion mark, and then you'll never see me again. I'm just going to be tweeting all the same stuff that I used to annoy people with, all the Yankee troll tweets. Those are coming back. The Yankees lose. Are you kidding me? The Yankees lose tweet? I haven't done it all year. Guess what? It's coming back every time they lose. We are going to make so much money from Elon Musk that, I mean, I'm not going to stop until Tyler's teeth are fucking 14 karat gold with diamonds in them.
I want different grills for every fucking day of the week. I want that shit shining.
I'll give you a different grill for every time the Red Sox win.
That's all I need. If I can
once they reach $1 billion. $1
billion. Yeah, well, how long will that take? Let's be real. The Yankees are sitting in fucking last place right now.
Yeah.
Like, if we're looking at any other year where we could have started this business plan, this is the fucking year to do it.
I agree. Jake, what do you want if I hit $1 billion on Elon Musk revenue?
I'll just take a lifetime suite at Fenway for every game.
All right, yeah. I mean, you basically have that now.
That's true. All right, I might have to rethink that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess I mean, if you want like a suite where I don't have to be there, then yeah. But I mean, I feel like you'll be there within like the next, call it 3 years.
I'll take a suite at the Garden then.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Am I allowed to join anytime, Jake?
No, you got to text me a couple weeks in advance.
Yeah,
weeks in advance.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
A lot of
By
people
the way,
want those
why
tickets.
are you acting like you would be available to go to sporting events?
I'm at Fenway Park these days. I'm just walking around.
You have gone to one game.
All right, it was a game though, and some would say it was the worst game of the entire year. But I was there. Okay. I should earn more points for that.
No.
No.
Catch
me August 28th. I'll be out there. I'll be doing shit.
August 28th. What is that?
I think it's an Astros game. I don't know. I don't even know what day it is.
It's a Monday.
I'll be there.
Jake heard a pretty interesting Astros story this morning. Well, Jake's in the circle of trust.
Is this inferring that I'm not?
I didn't say that.
You did not say it.
Yeah, but I didn't say it.
We're 7 minutes in and you've already hurt my feelings today.
Why? Do you think I trust you?
No, it's cool.
You don't think I trust you?
Clearly, the circle of trust involves others, not me.
Well, you weren't there. You're not on Baseball is Dead.
Whoa! Why throw it in my face?
Well, you're not. You're on Name Redacted.
We're one family though. We're all under the same umbrella.
You're on Section 10.
We all have sex with Jared Carabas.
Whoa!
Am I wrong? You're piping us all down.
I mean, I'll be a pretty big sugar daddy in about 3 weeks once I hit Elon's $1 billion paycheck.
We're all waiting. This is what we need. We're all getting grills.
That's definitely one of the questions I've been getting a lot over the last few days because Dave Portnoy bought 100% of Barstool back. And so people were saying, does this mean that you're getting Section 10 back? I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
That sounds better than any other update ever, though.
Well, I mean, if the original conversation was that I couldn't have it because I went to a competitor, but now DraftKings is not a competitor, well, then let's have a conversation. So I don't know. I don't have any updates on that. I think it would be nice, but we've also established a nice little brand with the name Redacted as well. And I think people would agree that, like Section 10 was an era. Name Redacted is an era. Like Tyler has only existed on Name Redacted. It's a different era. So yeah, I think it would be also like, yes, I want it back, but I would wait.
What do you mean? Like it'd be something if you obtained it, you wouldn't flip it immediately. You'd have to think about it.
Yeah.
That's fair. I think that's very fair because with Section 10, there comes the conversation we've had. Like Name Redacted has a different feel to it because obviously, Steve's not here. Coley's not here. It's a different world.
Yeah. But we'll see. It's interesting. It's an interesting thing that happened for that reason. Like now the forbidden door is open. And I said this on Baseball is Dead. I was like, when Met stuff comes up, now Kevin can come on the podcast and Clem. And on here, does that open the door for Hubs interactions?
Oh, really?
Does it?
I've always wanted to taunt Hubs in my own way. Now, I don't think it would go over well, but I'd like to try.
The Empire's back, baby! I mean, it's not like it feels like that's a thing, that that could be a thing. If the forbidden door is open, I know, Tyler, you're a huge wrestling fan. It's like,
huge.
Well, now the guys from New Japan can pop up at a Ring of Honor show. Someone from Ring of Honor can pop up at AEW. You don't know.
I actually had a very big wrestling comp for a recent piece of Red Sox news I was thinking about the other day while I was driving.
Can you tell me about it?
So we're going to get into the Pablo Reyes talk. But you know that video, who's the really old guy that's been around forever? Ric Flair, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's
say that, but I'm sorry. He's an older gentleman, is he not?
He's not young, yeah.
Okay, old. Elderly. When that guy kicks him, he's like, I'm sorry, like he mouths it to him.
Shawn Michaels.
That's what Pablo Reyes did to Yu Chang when he hit the grand slam in the first game and kind of killed Yu Chang.
It's a fair comp. He says, I'm sorry, I love you. And then he kicks him in the face.
Because that was the Pablo Reyes game.
There's a retirement match. So he was defeating him, essentially ending his career, which is a bittersweet thing. Obviously, you want to win the match, but you're ending one of the most legendary careers in professional wrestling history.
That was great work for me. The fact that I even knew one of the guys.
That's become a popular meme as of late. But you know what? I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
It's a good pull.
I needed it.
It's a good pull. Where do you want to start?
We have to start the Pablo Reyes game. Because I do agree with you. I think your take on the series, while you snuck it in there.
What?
You don't leave this series feeling really particularly good or anything. Like you did the bare minimum. You took 3 out of 4.
I feel fine. I mean, did you pick 3 out of 4?
Yeah, that was, we said, if you can't get 3 out of 4 from the fucking Royals, the second worst team in baseball and a historically bad team, what the hell is going on with you?
I think we both went. Did Jake go split?
Yeah, to split.
Okay. Well,
That was a punishment, though.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Jake wanted to go sweep there. He did what he had to do. That's why he's Jake.
But I thought the Pablo Reyes performance in that first game, talk about someone just taking the game over. And we had that conversation last episode where we were like, all right, well, we know this decision with Trevor Story is coming up in the next week, one way or the other. Why would you keep Yu Chang or Pablo Reyes over each other? And we said Pablo Reyes in the versatility. He can play center field. We know they trust him at shortstop. He can play third. Cora said they trust him at first base. Now, I saw Yu Chang make some nice plays at first base. Yeah, Cora said that today. He was like, Pablo Reyes could play first base if we needed him to.
Oh, God damn it. I'm so stupid, Tyler. I'm sorry.
Are you okay? Fuck. Is this thing on? Yeah, put your head down. Shame on you.
You didn't remember either, so suck me.
Bayo flipped the switch. The Yellow Sox are a glitch. Pablo Reyes, bitch. That is a remix. It was him originally, but a lot of people commented that and it was much better. Short rest Pavetta. Cass's homers we treasure. McGuire's big hose. I just X'd out the newest one. I have it. Put your hand down. Doogie's revenge tour. It poured. Paxton went to war. Sox win. 3 out of 4.
Wow.
A series of haikus by Tyler Milliken.
Wow. This might have been your best series for haikus.
Consistency wise.
Yeah, I think this might have been your best series for haikus. Admittedly, I don't think I haven't read any of them this series. Listen.
What are you doing?
Listen, I've been checked out a little bit because of the Blue Jay series really did kill me.
It took life out of you.
Yeah, it did. Like, I'm not afraid to admit that. Like, I think we're all Red Sox fans here, or maybe we're not. I mean, I feel like, obviously there are non-Red Sox fans that listen to this podcast. Appreciate you guys as well. But being open and honest about where I'm at, that Blue Jay series took a lot out of me. And thank God the Royals came to town and they fucking suck. You took 3 out of 4. And I still don't feel energized because they took 3 out of 4. I feel like it was almost like you escaped. You escaped with 3. Like, you're supposed to win 3 out of 4 against this team. They're terrible.
It took
but
everything.
They didn't beat their brains in.
No, at all 3 games. The first game, it took a Pablo Reyes grand slam and that breaking your way with Luis Arias's check swing. Yesterday, it took the bullpen absolutely locking it down. The Kyle Isbell ball landing in the light, saving that run. The reason that game doesn't end up going to extras after Kenley gives up a homer in the 9th. And today, you scored 2 fucking runs. Scored 2 runs against the Royals. You're lucky your bullpen showed up and did its thing, along with James Paxton. But you thought you'd walk into this series and just kind of maul them to death. The reality is, with the Red Sox lineup, you have a serious, cold stretch going here. Since July 28th, going into today, they're 27th in runs scored, 26th in weighted runs created plus at 73, 29th in OBP at 274. And this is a Red Sox offense that is the 9th best in baseball in terms of runs. That's how cold they've been now for 2 weeks. Really, since that Giants series when you started dropping series again.
Also, those defensive numbers, please, if you do you have any of those in front of you?
On just where the Red Sox defense ranks?
Outs above average. Just the gap. The Red Sox outs above average. They're dead last in baseball, but the gap between them and the 29th ranked team will make you shit your pants. Potentially.
I have it right here. Give me 1 second.
Jake would have had it faster, but
Jake, do you have it in front of you?
Jake's fucking busy producing the show, dude.
Sorry. I didn't mean to offend anybody here. Okay, outs above average. Where do the Red Sox rank in 2023? You might ask. All the way in 30th, negative 51. Where do the Reds rank, who are 29th? Negative 19. So what is that? 32? Negative 32?
They're not even in the same universe.
It's
They're
absolutely
not even
getting
in the
destroyed.
same universe. Like, I mean, just for perspective, I know that you're not going to be able to pull this up right now. I would love to know, like, what is the worst outs above average team of all time? I don't even know that you're going to be able to figure that out. But
No, I'm not going to be able to pull that up on the run here. But that's where the Red Sox currently are right now. And I think you look at this entire season. Does it feel that crazy? Now, it is a little different if you look at defensive run saved and some of these other metrics. But Kike Hernandez at shortstop, everything he went through. Rafael Devers at third base has been a major disappointment this year. Tristan Casas at first, he's had his fair share of struggles. Outs
you're
above
still
average.
wearing it from Kike, too.
Yeah, outs above average doesn't like Masataka Yoshida that much, so that factors in. Not ideal.
No. Yeah. Just wanted to point that out because that is a part of the game. I know that we look at pitching, we look at offense, but the Red Sox defense this year really has chapped my fucking ass, Tyler. And I usually don't put a ton of stock into defense. Like, I know it's important, like, but I don't. All right, let me rephrase that. I don't want to say I don't put a ton of stock into defense because I do. I think what I'm trying to say is it's not usually something I have to worry about, right? Like, it's at the very least it's steady, right?
Yeah, you at least hold above water. You're not one of the worst teams in baseball, but you go back even a year ago, they were 22nd in outs above average in all of baseball at -13. You weren't this bad. You're historically bad right now.
Historically bad.
And that's the kind of common theme here. 3 years in a row, fuck 2020, whatever that may be. 3 years in a row, the defense has been a serious problem for this team, whether it's been fitting in square pegs and round holes, talking about Kyle Schwarber at first base or Bobby Delbick at first base. Still, Devers kind of trying to figure it out. You need to kind of start constructing these teams to be able to play defense, and Heimblum hasn't done that yet. That's a really serious criticism on his roster building. He hasn't built a strong defensive team.
Well, let's switch gears back to something a little bit more positive. Let's talk about the call of the series brought to you by Nextel i90. This is a no-brainer. You already know where I'm going with this.
Dave outdid himself.
The 1-0. Swing and a drive. Sucked down the line. And that ball's gone. And the Red Sox win the game. Pablo.
This is a great call. That's a great call by OB. Great call by OB. I texted him after the game to let him know. And it was funny. I think before game 2 of the series, he referenced something that I said in that conversation on the broadcast, which is funny. OB crushed it with that call. The Yellow Sox. Do we have an updated record with the yellow jerseys?
Yes, I believe it's 24-9 now.
24-9. I think it was 7-0 coming into this series for this year, right?
Yes, and then obviously they dropped their first.
So they're 10-1.
10-1.
10-1 this year. And what is it again for forever?
Yellow Sox are now 24-5 all time.
24-5?
24-5.
24-5. So that is a 826 winning percentage.
I don't listen. The fact that the clubhouse manager is the one stepping in and being like, everything that's going on with this team right now.
Shout out Tommy Mack. Tommy Mack's a fucking G.
Dude, he's calling the shots.
Yeah, Tommy Mack. I want to say, don't quote me on this. He's been there. Man, I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to get it wrong and date him, but I think he's been there basically since I was born. I had the pleasure, the honor of meeting him during spring training. He was on the Nesson Like a Pro episode that I did where I was a clubby for a day. And he was the one that gave me the direction, told me what tasks I should be performing as a clubby for the day, and got to interview him at the end of my workday as a clubby. And that man is a legend. He is a legend around those parts. He oversees all of that activity in the Red Sox clubhouse. So shout out Tommy Mack for being the guy that was like, oh yeah, by the way, we're going yellow here. Fuck this losing stuff. We're bringing out the yellow jerseys. He's a legend.
They just respond. Like, just that Pablo Reyes moment on its own. How many times are you going to have that kind of electricity? And I know some people got a little down on Tuesday when they lost in them, but you win series in them, and this is what it is. I know you were undefeated at the time going into this series before that, but wear them as fucking long as you possibly can and ride this out. It's yet to fail. The Yellow Sox have never failed.
Well,
one game's okay. A series?
one game's okay. Yeah.
If you're winning the series, that loss doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
By the way, just circling back to that defense conversation a little bit. If you look at defensive run save for the Red Sox this year, they're 27th. They're minus 24. So outs above average, historically bad. Look at some of the other metrics, not as bad. Still, out of all the Hein Bloom years, I do look at this as their worst defensive year.
It's
by
gotta
a good
be
margin.
one. Like, I'm not even talking like Red Sox years. I'm talking like it's gotta be one of the worst to ever do it.
But I think where you start to be a little hopeful, and we saw it, it wasn't the greatest couple days for Trevor Story. We got one day at shortstop. That play he made when the infield was in and he threw from his knees, that looked pretty damn good to me.
You know what? I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. It's a fine thing. Trevor Story made his return in this series, and I mean, nothing really he didn't stand out. Like, it wasn't a good thing. It wasn't a bad thing. I was kind of hoping that he came out of the gates, like guns blazing, but he's got to get his feet under him. And this is like, I was debating privately with some people that were getting on me for defending Trevor Story.
Same here.
Yeah. Some people privately wanted to have it out with me because I was like, yeah, dude, like Trevor Story is coming off a major elbow surgery, hasn't played baseball all year, didn't have a spring training last year because of childbirth. So now he knows, when I don't have a spring training, I don't play very good. So like, let me actually like get some ABs under my belt before I start seeing major league pitching. He knows his body. He knows what he responds to. But I think the argument is, well, you're getting paid a shit ton of money and the season's on the line and yada, 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 yada. So, I mean, eventually he caved to the people that were saying that, but there were certain individuals within, I would say, like, let's call them notable names. Notable names. Yeah. I don't want
respected figures.
I don't know how respected this figure is, but yeah, I don't want people to take what I'm saying and be like, oh, like his own teammates. Like, no. It wasn't anyone that works for or is connected to the Boston Red Sox, at least from a paycheck perspective. But yeah, prominent names in the space that were coming at me for that. And I was like, fuck you. Like, dude had what, 40 at-bats?
Yeah, 40 at-bats, and you see it. The reason why he wanted to take the time was so it didn't look like it did this week, where he played shortstop one day and DH the other 2 days. He's building up. They're trying to get his body to where it needs to be to handle it. The guy hasn't played shortstop since 2021, and there is wear on the elbow. They are trying to strengthen it. It's not one of those things where he's like, oh, I'm whipping the ball 100%. There's still some soreness. He's talked about it. He's been open about it. You don't, when you get your elbow worked on, it's like when a pitcher's building up. You kind of got to work through some of this stuff, and he hasn't had that same luxury. Like we said, he's lucky to be playing this year. There were plenty of people that said, we weren't going to see him this year. That's a very real possibility. One setback, one thing kind of popping up. Well, he forced himself, jumped even a little bit early because he felt like the team needed him. It's just he wanted to be able to give them everything he could, 100%. I don't want to go and have to play in the field one day and then you DH me. The only reason the DH is working right now is because Justin Turner's hurt. If Justin Turner wasn't hurt, this would make even less sense. There wouldn't be room for him.
4 to 6 weeks and that's if he stays off of his feet. It's 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, this is going to be a thing he deals with for the rest of the year, and it's going to have to be monitored. And I know some people are going to be like, well, you shouldn't have never put him in the field. That's not what caused it. He hit that bag weird in Seattle, and ever since then, it's just been a problem. It's a bone bruise. That's the way he described it. They're hoping he plays tomorrow. But for a guy, Justin Turner, who's 38 years old, he's already said, it messed up my mechanics when you saw me in Toronto or against Toronto in the first game of this series. My mechanics are bothering, and it's starting to spark other like injuries and soreness for him. So that's why they sat him down. His feet are everything. We know how it impacted David Ortiz. Like, you talk about older hitters and that kind of stuff. It is not easy to overcome, especially as he's putting more and more miles on. 38-year-old isn't going to feel great in August or September anyways. Now you add this into it, not ideal.
How do you feel about that moving forward?
I'm nervous. I'm worried because I think you've seen with this lineup how much Justin Turner's approach and bat means to them. When he's not
been
in
the
there,
guy. He's been the guy for the
most
whole
clutch
year.
hitter on the team.
When Rafael Devers was struggling, Justin Turner stepped up. When Tristan Casas wasn't hitting for the first month and a half, Justin Turner was there. Like, throughout the entire season, he's been their most consistent, above average hitter. Is that fair or unfair?
Fair, 100% fair.
Like, you've had Masataka Yoshida, who has had his peaks and valleys offensively. There haven't really been any valleys for Justin Turner. Like, there's been miniature lulls. Like, he's been dormant for a series or two, but there's never been a point where you're sitting there thinking, man, JT's got to figure it out. Like, no, like, you know, he may go like one for the series against someone, whatever. Like, that's expected. But when the Red Sox were performing at their best as a team, Justin Turner was at the forefront of their offensive production. If there was a big game where the Red Sox offense got it going, Justin Turner more than likely drove in at least one run in that game. If there was a late inning comeback, he probably had the hit that either started the rally or finished the rally. He's been that guy all season long. So if this is a situation where, like, they kind of made it seem like he could play with it, but like, for it to heal completely, he's got to be off his feet for 4 to 6 weeks. It's not like, yeah, you know, it's going to suck. We can give him a cortisone shot and he can play through it and this and that. Like, if they put it this way, if it were the playoffs, Justin Turner's out there. Like, that it's something that, like, it's not like his ankle's broken and he has to go get surgery on it. It's a motherfucker of an injury. It's painful and it's not going to heal probably until the offseason at this point.
And that's where you sit there and you wonder, like, if the bat does take a step back, if he can't be the kind of consistent presence he's been all year, these ups and downs from the Red Sox offense become more and more scary. Because we know they peak and they valley. It happens consistently throughout this year. And we're in one of those valleys right now. I gave you the stats, 10 minutes ago. They are going through it for over 2 weeks now, and there's really nothing, besides Casas, who's kind of been the really only consistent bat. Rafael Devers has cooled off. Yoshida got a day off today because he hasn't really been hitting. They're in a tough spot without Justin Turner, and now you lose some of the positional versatility. You don't really need him at second base anymore, but the breaks he could give a Rafael Devers, a Tristan Casas in certain platoon matchups, those went a long way towards Alex Cora being able to put out his best lineup frequently. I look at Turner and I say, that's one bad, landing on the base away from him going on the IL. And if I told you that, you say like, I'm kind of tuned out with the Red Sox a little bit. They've turned me off. If I told you Justin Turner's not playing for a couple weeks, you're like, man, I don't know how this Red Sox team is going to get through those couple weeks. That feels close to impossible. And that doesn't add in a lot of other players who are dealing with innings limitations. Cutter Crawford, talking about Cutter Crawford, he's starting to hit an innings limit here where you see the velocity's been down in his recent starts. Brian Bayo, they're trying to give him an extra day consistently. Cora keeps mentioning how they're worried about him upholding this workload. James Paxton was down a mile 0.6 today off his four-seamer. Velocity is down back-to-back starts. I think it averaged 93.9 off the top of my head. It adds up across the boards here. And you really got to wonder how many bullets some of these guys are going to have. Josh Winkowski, he's been excellent since coming from, the All-Star break and kind of getting a chance to reset. All the innings he has under his belt this year, like, not what you're exactly hoping for when you're pushing down the stretch and you need to be playing the best baseball you've played all year to even be part of this conversation.
Not that I want to be too negative on a 3 out of 4 series victory against the Kansas City Royals, but the Pablo Reyes game in the series opener, when, like, I don't know how you felt about it, but when Urias checks his swing, but really essentially takes a full swing, I'm sitting, it's not even like debatable. Like, it's not even like, that one could have gone either way. Like, motherfucker took a full swing.
They're walking off the field.
Yeah. So, like, I'm sitting there like, oh man, like, this is, that might be like one of the first times where I felt like we really stole one there. Because sometimes, like, if you've got a bad umpire, you're like, all right, yeah, like, there's been some shit calls against you. There's been some shit calls against us. Like, you know, it balances itself out. Like, I'll take that. Like, we, you know, for that blown strike 3 call with the bases loaded in the 3rd inning, like, that's a good makeup. But for this game, like, that was strike 3. And then Pablo Reyes hits a walk-off grand slam. And you're sitting there thinking, my first thought isn't like, oh, yay, the Red Sox won. It was like, damn, like, if I'm a Royals fan, I am pissed. And not only that, my second thought is, damn, if I'm Yu Chang right now, I'm pissed. Like, you cannot designate Pablo Reyes for assignment after the dude, what did he steal second? Throw goes wild. He fucking swipes 3rd. Then he hits a walk-off grand slam. You're going to designate that dude for assignment after? No. And he pitched a scoreless inning the day before.
Like, he was part of every single thing that happened in that first game. The Masataka Yoshida sac fly, as you mentioned, steals second, gets a 3rd. Later in that game, he starts what? The 5th or 6th inning off with the double. Connor Wong hits him in. Those are both of those runs and the grand slam, plus the double plays that bailed Brian Bayo out. He's in the middle of them, playing a good shortstop, a consistent shortstop. So what more can you really ask for there? I look at Yu Chang and I say, man, we appreciate you. You've played amazing defense here. You hit a homer every once in a while. Pablo Reyes, I know Alex Cora told you, and I think even Cora walked back some of those comments this last couple of days, where he's like, you know, he's not an everyday player. And I'm not telling you Pablo Reyes is, but he's like, yeah, they were right about getting this guy. Like, I think Cora went and he said, Ramon Vasquez, he was like, he was really just very loud about saying what this guy could bring to the team and all this stuff. And I had to do my research and kind of figure it out. Boom. Pablo Reyes is a very good utility infielder to have here. And you have him for control beyond this year as well. I'm happy to have Pablo Reyes here. I trust him. I'd like to see him in center field. I want to see what he looks like out there. Let's expand these horizons a little bit.
Jake, what did you feel about that walk-off grand slam? How were the emotions going through your head?
I thought the same exact thing, which is kind of fucked up. I just was like, if this happened to us, I would have shot myself in the face. But obviously, cool moment. Yellow jerseys. You were looking for something like that after a shit series over the weekend. So, yeah, that was sick.
What a world.
First homer since 2021. Do you know the
against
last
John
homer?
Lester?
Off John Lester.
Last time this dude hit a fucking home run, it was off someone that's been retired for 2 years.
What a find.
The most improbable walk-off grand slam. When's the last time the Red Sox hit a walk-off grand slam? What's that stat?
No, this is crazy. Now, Jared, you're going to punch yourself because you're forgetting. Last year, do you remember? It's a good test.
Walk-off grand slam?
Oh, not walk-off. Or, yeah, walk-off grand slam. Yes, 2. There's been 2 the last 2 years.
A walk-off grand slam happened last year?
And the year before. And 2018.
What?
Jake, don't say it. Do you know them off the top of your head?
I know last year.
Okay. Do you want a hint or would you like to guess?
Is it obvious?
No, neither. They're pretty, the 2018 one is, but the other ones aren't. I'll tell you.
Hit a walk-off
2022 was May. And
Trevor Story?
No, 2021 was August.
Fuck, I don't remember at all.
Franchi last year.
Oh, remember the Mariners?
Yeah, the Heim Bloom fist pump.
Yeah.
Go
against the Mariners. And that was in May. Yeah.
Yeah, May.
It was a 4-game series at Fenway. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when Trevor Story had the 3-homer game and all that. It was like the turning point early in the year.
I remember that he hit and it was in the series finale. It was in the 4th game. I remember that. I couldn't tell you that it was a grand slam. I'm not even thinking like, oh yeah. I remember he hit a walk-off. Couldn't tell you it was a grand slam. Anyways, there was a walk-off grand slam in 2018
and 21. You have a connection, a pretty significant connection with the 2021.
Was 18 Hanley?
Xander against the Blue Jays?
Oh, I was at that game. Was that the Blue Jays or was it the A's?
Was it I thought it was the Blue Jays, but I could be wrong.
Maybe. It was a day game to dead center.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it might have been the A's. I remember that one. I was at that game.
It was the Blue Jays.
Blue Jays. All right.
That's like the famous Xander,
yeah. Yeah. And then 21.
You are gonna be so angry at yourself.
21, a walk-off grand slam in 2021.
You nicknamed this player.
I nicknamed every player on that team.
Fair point. This is a long nickname though, like OG days.
Devers?
Travis Shaw.
Oh yeah, that was before he hit a walk-off grand slam before Fenway was at full capacity because no one was there.
Yeah, I think it was the Rangers off the top of my head. It might have been someone
I don't
else.
remember who that one was against, but yeah, I remember it was over like the bullpen. And that was before Fenway was back in full capacity. So it was like walk-off grand slam, but no one's here. Yeah, woo. Yeah.
Proud of you.
Yeah. Well, I've completely forgot. I mean, like I knew Xander hit that walk-off grand slam. I couldn't, for some reason, like that doesn't scream 2018 to me. Like I remember like the Mookie 14 pitch. Yeah.
I think it'd been 20 years before that one in 2018 that they had a walk-off grand slam, I believe.
And then we just do it all the time now.
3 years in a row? How fucking... And it's 3 players that you're going to go back in your head and, Red Sox fans won't remember. Franchi Cordero. You'll remember Travis Shaw because he had a couple stints here. But Pablo Reyes in 2027, can you imagine telling someone about Pablo Reyes?
I mean, I don't know. Pablo Reyes is just one of those guys that... not even a name that you thought of in spring training because he wasn't here yet. And then he kind of becomes, I don't want to call him a key cog in what the Red Sox have going on, but he's been needed.
He's one of the boys. Him and Brian Bayo got a pretty good relationship, it seems.
Yeah.
I've seen him. He's with that crew. It's him, Casas, Devers, Bayo. There might be someone else. I remember the dinner picture came out like 2 or 3 months ago. And everyone was like, what the fuck is Pablo Reyes doing with these guys? Dog, they like Pablo Reyes. They fuck with Pablo Reyes. He's one of the dudes.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. He's a guy. I like Pablo Reyes. Nothing wrong with that. Trying to think of anything else that would stand out in this series.
From that game, I thought Brian Bayo, it was nice just to see him be himself again. In that very first game, like he has not been himself since the All-Star break. 6 2/3, 6 hits, 1 earned, 2 Ks, 2 walks. I'm not going to sit here and act like it was the greatest thing ever because those double plays did bail him out a bit, but you needed some length and he gave it to you before Josh Winkowski came in and became Josh Winkucky. You can sit and smile about it.
I didn't say shit.
It happened. Actually, you're a little bitch right now because you tweeted out something. You heard me. You're being a little bitch.
What did I do?
Was that the tweet when Kelsey gave up those 2 runs?
I just said,
Oh, why?
Because he's a whiny little bitch, and I didn't want to say something that would upset him. So I just said,
fair point.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to upset him. He's very sensitive. It doesn't take much to upset him. So I just said, What did you
in
want
touch
me to
with
say?
his emotions? No, I was curious to see where you were at.
With what?
just watching him, because he did have a good rest of the series. He's been very good since the All-Star break.
Listen, I have no personal axe to grind against Josh Winkowski
In his dugout.
So yeah, I respect him and his dugout. So I just, when I see him in his dugout, I salute when he walks by, and I show respect.
What will you remember most from the Dinelson Lamet era?
Probably nothing.
They had no time for him.
No, they really didn't. 2 innings, and they were like, "Thank you for your time." How many batters did he face? In 11?
It was something like that. The final line was 2 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned, 1 K, 1 walk, and MJ Melendez took him deep.
I mean, Melendez, that dude
took everyone deep.
Yeah, I was talking to Coley before the show, and I called him the Latino Frank Catalanato, and that's gonna go over your head because you're 16 years old. But growing up, Frank Catalanato was the premier Red Sox killer. Like, that dude would just, every time, didn't matter what team he was on, if he was playing the Red Sox, 3 for 4, 2 doubles, a home run. He would get hit and walk and steal base and drive in 6. Like, that was Frank Catalanato every single time.
Is this like Rowdy Tellez or even worse?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, as a kid growing up as a Red Sox fan, Frank Catalanato was probably like my first introduction to like Red Sox killer. He was like the OG Red Sox killer.
Did he have like a specific moment? Like, is there a moment you play back in your head, or is it just every time you played him?
Every time.
He's gonna fuck you up?
Every time. Yep. Every time.
I hear the pain.
Yeah, those are crazy days. I
I
hope
wasn't-
there's people listening that can appreciate that reference.
You feel
Not
old?
that old. Yeah, a little bit. But that's the goal, is, you hope that your audience grows with you. It's like, I'm in my mid 30s, but I'm sure we have listeners that range from high school kids to, I mean, I know that there's people that are like my dad's age that listen, including my dad. Not to be like my dad's ancient, but like, I'm talking like dudes that are in their 60s will just chill and listen to the show. It's cool.
He's in his like George Clooney era.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say Nick Robertson in that game. Really bad first inning, got smacked around. But the last 2 innings, he set them down in order, got sent down right after as well. But, I'm not throwing out the towel on him. He's young. You kind of got to let it play a little bit here. For a relief prospect, I'm not acting like he's 21 or anything. But, it looked a little bit better the last 2. Hopefully they can keep working with him and get him to the point where he can be usable in the big leagues. He's just going to be up and down. He's going to be one of those guys the next 6 weeks or so.
So I don't buy in with, the cranky older crowd that's like, like the Red Sox and they need to spend more money. But where they do make a good point is these are some of the most important games of the season. And who the fuck is that guy coming out of the Red Sox bullpen? That's where I do get frustrated. Yeah. That's where I do get frustrated.
I will say, in a game like that where, it gets away from you, probably I'm looking more at Dinelson Lamet. Like, that's the guy you're leaning on minor league options. Part of it's injuries. Part of it's
I like Dinelson Lamet.
I think we all were like, oh, it's interesting, but we're not trying to have a pitcher revive his career when he's not even lighting it up at AAA. The ERA was okay. The FIP was over 5. He was like striking out 7 per 9. I'm sorry, for a guy that missed so many bats a couple years ago, I could have told you when they called him up, it was going to be bad. The stuff didn't bounce back, and it's awesome that Pedro wanted to make the call and all those things. Great. It didn't work. He hasn't clicked anything. He is what he is at this point. That's where you have the conversation about having another arm there that you could have got at the deadline. Doesn't help when Michael Lorenzen throws a no-hitter either the last couple days, and you kind of stare at him and you're like, I don't think it fixes where the Red Sox are right now. Sean McAdam had a fantastic piece today. Fantastic piece.
People were asking me about it. I didn't catch it, but people were asking for us to comment on it. What was the gist of it? I'm mad that I didn't get to read it, but
It was basically kind of turning like a lot of people since the deadline have been like, oh, the team has fallen apart because they didn't do anything at the trade deadline. This is on the front office for sending the wrong message, and these players are kind of shutting it down and saying, oh, they don't believe us, so fuck everything. Sean McAdams like, hold these players accountable, because what's been going on here, you score 13 runs in your last 5 losses. Who the fuck's that on? The offense wasn't getting a major boost either way. That's just you not showing up, and you're dealing with the Justin Turner thing. Reese McGuire celebrating a homer and getting doubled off while Carlos Febles is asleep at third base. That's not on Chaim Bloom. That's on Reese McGuire needing to be better and Carlos Febles needing to be better. Devers' error on Saturday that kind of opened the floodgates and was the reason Luis Urias' RBI single in the bottom of the 9th didn't tie the game. Sunday, Jarren Duran, alligator arming that ball in center field, opened the floodgates. These are the same mistakes this team has been all year. This is the inconsistent defense, the bad base running where they're kind of screwing things up, and just the bats not being able to consistently be what they need to be. James Paxton getting his head kicked in on Friday. Whose fault is that? He just needs to be better. We expect more out of James Paxton. That's all he was kind of pointing to and saying, the Red Sox, maybe you get another win here on that Friday game instead of going to Mauricio Jovera and it goes to 6-2 instead of 4-2. You're in a better spot. But does Alex Verdugo show up on time if you got someone? No. This has been an issue for months, as we know through Alex Spears reporting. So you got to put it on the players to just be better. And the reality is this is who they are. They're consistently inconsistent, and they've been that since day one.
Baseball fans, you could be winning every inning with the hottest offers in the game. DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered from the top of the first to the bottom of the 9th all season long. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 to score $150 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, all customers can take a shot at bigger payouts with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Open the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and place your parlay by combining 3 or more bets from the same game. Every additional leg gets you an extra boost up to 100%. Step up to the plate right now with the DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app, sign up with the promo code Jared, Jared. New customers can bet just $5 to score $150 in bonus bets instantly only on the DraftKings Sportsbook with the promo code Jared. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelplinema.org. In New York, call 877-8 Hope NY or text Hope NY. In Kansas, call 1-800-522-4700. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after insurance. Opt-in and 10-plus leg requirement for 100% boost. Eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/baseball terms. Yeah, I got to catch up with Sean McAdam. What was that? What's today? Today's Thursday, so I saw him on Tuesday. We should get Sean on. We go way back. We did the baseball show together with Lou back in the day. I think 2016, 17, one of those years. I think it's 16. He's been around. He's been around for quite some time. Not calling him old, but Providence Journal. I think he was at the Herald, maybe.
BSJ.
Yep. And now he's with Mass Live. So he's seen some shit. Big Beatles guy. Very knowledgeable. Very dry sense of humor, but he's very funny. I would like to get Sean McAdam on the podcast. He has very interesting insight to the team.
Yeah, someone who has the pulse for the Red Sox still, and you can't always say that about certain people on that beat who've been around a long time, as we know. But I think today they actually had a pretty interesting conversation, him and Catillo, talking about Blake Snell being someone they think the Red Sox are going to really heavily pursue this offseason. Due to Bloom's connections, drafting him back in the day, which you tell me you're going to get Blake Snell part of this rotation. I still think you need more overall. Go get me Yamamoto. But that excites me. That's the kind of stuff that can spark a World Series run next year. And you be in that kind of conversation.
I would like that. I like Blake Snell. Big sneaker guy. I don't know that No, I don't.
No. Wow. You don't think he'd be into a place like Boston?
I think he'd be into a place like Boston. I think he wants to win. But I think like geographically, I don't know what his geographical preference is. It might be the West Coast. I don't know. I don't know that he wants to be out here.
Washington kid. Well,
Yeah.
he was with the Rays, right? Like he was doing his thing in Tampa, and he was like insulted when the trade rumors of that first started happening. I know that it bothered him that he was even mentioned in those talks.
Yeah.
Work your way a little up, the Heim-Bloom relationship, and I don't know. I think if you're the Red Sox, you could sell players. If things go the way they need to over the next 6 weeks and you're in the conversation, you can be that team every year we talk about, like the Orioles a year ago, where everyone's kind of pointing them and saying, yeah, they're next up. Like we're a couple pieces away and we have the money. Look at the young core we have. Do you want to be a part of something and really be one of the faces of something as the Red Sox kind of reach the level they have been hoping to reach since the Heim-Bloom era started?
We'll see what happens in the offseason. But I like Blake Snell a lot. I'm a fan. I know him a little bit. I can't remember. Probably when he was with Tampa. We've never had him on the podcast. I feel like it's always been like something where we were close and it didn't happen or whatever. But yeah, he's a very entertaining dude. I could see that. It would have to be Blake Snell and, like you said, Blake Snell and Yamamoto.
You look at like the last 2 years, it's a 261 and 23 starts this year. The FIP's like 3.6. Last year it was a 330 and 24 starts, and it was a 280 FIP. So yeah, a little inconsistency. You can kind of see the numbers year over year. But if that's the guy you're looking at as like a, Yamamoto, Snell, Bayo, I think a lot of people are feeling that. A lot of people are into that. And then you pick one of Cutter, Houck, Whitlock, however you want to play that game, right? As the fifth starter and your 4. Is it probably not Paxton at that point if you're bringing in 2 of those arms, I'm assuming? You're not bringing him back on a QO or trying to re-sign him on another deal. Or it could be 2 of those younger arms. Who knows?
Maybe.
The Yamamoto hype is building on Twitter.
I'm seeing a lot of that.
Lou dropped the big fish today. He's like, this is the big fish the Red Sox have to go after.
What did he say?
Let me see. And I do want to preface this and say, someone had tweeted at me, and I do agree, right? Like fans are getting very excited about him because he's so young. He's going to be 25 years old. Like he's about to win the Triple Crown in the MPB for the 3rd year in a row. Talked about as Masahiro Tanaka, like a younger version of him. Don't get upset or too stuck to him because if he signs somewhere else and say maybe the Red Sox pay Aaron Nola or, insert another name that's on the free agent market list, Blake Snell this year, and they kind of go about it in a different way, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. The Red Sox are going to get one of these arms. I think this one between the Red Sox scouts being there like they have been, the Yoshida connection, the age, it feels like it just matches up so perfectly with the Red Sox and what they look for in players. Like
I don't want to get too excited about it.
All I'm telling Heim is all you wanted was a young controlled starter at this deadline. That's what you dreamt on, Heim, right? Mm-hmm. That's what you were begging for, and you couldn't find the deal. If I told you all it costs is money, and you could get one of those guys, and a guy who's arguably better than the options you were looking at, because Dylan Cease has not looked too good since the trade deadline.
No. Well, he didn't really look that great before it either.
Yeah, it's been a rough year for him overall. Obviously, a step back in regressing. But you could get that guy for just money. Just dollars. You just got to put it on the table. And that's a John Henry part of the question as well.
Exactly what I was going to say. Like you're preaching to Heim right now. That's a John Henry thing. And I will say this, like BOH was on EEI last week, maybe within the last couple weeks. And the question was phrased sort of around Shohei Ohtani, which is, it's fucking stupid. Like, I don't even know why anyone would ask about like Shohei Ohtani's not coming here, but that doesn't mean that you can't spend money to improve your baseball team. And that is what the Red Sox should be doing at some point this offseason. And the answer was basically, no, not only do we have it, not only do we have the money to spend, but we have the desire to spend. That's all I want to know. Like, because I mean, let's face it, in years past, we've been faced with, we can't because X, Y, and Z. We can't because the luxury tax. And we can't because, we have these other contracts that we're either thinking about with Rafael Devers or these contracts that we're paying like David Price. Like it's all been sandwiched in between. Now you're in more of a position to be able to go out and spend some money on premier talent. And I know that it has been a grueling process. I know that fans have grown impatient, and I'm not saying that they're wrong for feeling that way because I feel that way. I'm impatient. I'm sick of, I don't even want to call it losing because it's not even like the Red Sox are tanking. It's not like the fucking A's. Like you're average, you're mid, you're just droning along. It's boring. You're not good, you're not bad. You're just kind of fucking playing out the string of a Major League Baseball season. That to me is not like, that doesn't grab me. Who does that grab? But then you start to see the emergence of a Tristan Casas and a Brian Bayo, and Devers could obviously be better, but the fact that he's just here makes me feel better about the situation. So there is a foundation, Jaron Duran, another guy, foundation that's developing here. And this is the time that you supplement that with free agent spending. And I feel like this is a very important offseason, not just for Heim. And people keep asking about like Heim, his job security and yada, yada. Yes, it's important for him from a job security perspective, but it's also very important for the Boston Red Sox franchise and the direction that they are trying to head in. Because now, right, like if Yamamoto goes out there and what's the projection? 200?
It's 200. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets closer to 250 once you get
250. Okay.
With the age, it's how often are you going to find a 25-year-old arm like that?
I'll meet you in the middle. Let's call it 225, right? Say he goes for 225. What do you got on Blake Snell? What do you think Blake Snell is going to go for?
Not 225.
165?
Yeah.
170?
Right in that ballpark, and I maybe even a little less if people are kind of scared off.
Like the Rodon deal?
Yeah, I call it the Rodon deal. I like that.
Okay. Let's call it 5 for whatever, 156 or whatever the fuck that was. You're going to find out a lot about the speculation. Oh, the Red Sox, they hired Chaim Bloom to come in here to be the Rays nerd, to have the payroll come down, to compete with a lower payroll because now you're building up this infrastructure of young cost-controlled talent. They're all homegrown players, and they're not going to spend this money because now they won't have to. They're just building the Tampa Bay Rays model in Boston. Or are you going to have the question answered? Well, now you're the Dodgers. You have the Tampa Bay Rays model and the ability to spend a bunch of money. And I mean, they just gave Rafael Devers $330 million. That is a lot of money. The Tampa Bay Rays are not giving out $330 million contracts. They're just not. So it does kind of lean more towards the Dodgers model, but Devers was a guy that was already here. So you're not adding by spending, you're maintaining, which is good. That's also important. And I feel like you needed the good PR. You needed the goodwill to be built back up with the fans after letting Xander Bogaerts go. And I know Nathan Eovaldi and JD, those hit on different levels for certain people, but Xander, I think, hit on a major level for most of the fan base. So I'm happy about the Devers deal, but I think this offseason, you're going to find out what the true intent of the organization is. Where, like, can you criticize ownership for not being as committed as they have been in the past? And what was the Sam Kennedy stuff?
So Kennedy basically came out and said pretty similar to Chaim Bloom, but obviously when Kennedy says it hits a little different. It's, we had prospects we really liked that other teams were interested in that we just weren't willing to let go.
I got it right here.
Trade deadline came and went, and you were in an interesting position really for the second straight year where you're hovering on the edge of the playoffs, but a couple games out at the time. A lot of fans say the team didn't do enough. What do you say to fans who say this team didn't do enough to give this year's team a shot to win?
Well, it's understandable because the trade deadline is that last sort of checkpoint on each season, and you always focus on what happens at the deadline. But the truth is, our fans really care what happens in October, what happens down the stretch. So we understand when there's not that satisfying lift or bump from adding someone to come in. We obviously did make a couple of moves that we're excited about. And the truth is we still believe in this exact team that we've had and the guys who are going to be coming back from injury. So there wasn't anything that really lined up well for us in terms of deals that we wanted to make. So we're sticking with this group, and we've shown that we can do it. You know, we were 13-5, I think, in July. Calendar turned to August. We've had a slide here. It seems like every August we have some sort of slide as Red Sox fans our whole lives. But hopefully, as Justin Turner said, it just takes one game to turn things around. So let's hope that night is tonight. Thought it was the other night with Pablo. It was really exciting. But let's see what we can do tonight and get back on track here. No one's giving up.
No one's giving up.
So I thought you were referring to the Greg Hill interview he did earlier today. But no, that quote, and while some of it, I don't like the July stuff. I think July is such a tough month to judge the Red Sox on because of those off days, and they were allowed to give this pitching staff constant breathers. When James Paxton only had to pitch once every 7 days, that goes a very long way. And, you know, we talked about our concerns and some of the velocity drops for these guys. It was the perfect schedule for a team like the Red Sox to succeed with. But, you know, you're telling me you believe in this team and some of that. Sure, I think you believe in it to a certain level. But there's, you know, you're not speaking the complete truth there, right? Like the unsaid thing is you don't view them as a World Series contender. You don't believe in them enough to invest in those certain ways. I think this all points to the Ken Rosenthal article that dropped a couple days ago where really he eviscerated Chaim Bloom for a majority of the piece. And it was weird. It was like these back and forth like arguments in Ken's mind where he's like, yeah, like Chaim Bloom has done a really good job finding these relievers and filling up the bullpen. He's done a really good job rebuilding the farm system. He nailed the Masataka Yoshida signing. You know, he's found these gems over the years and kind of plugged and played. And, you know, Trevor Story, it's too early to tell you what that deal is going to be. But Chaim Bloom continues to hedge. Like, eventually he's going to have to put his cards on the table and make that big move. And there's a risk with what happened at this deadline where he didn't make it. But Ken Rosenthal was basically saying if he ever wants to have this job in Boston and succeed, eventually you're going to have to make that Chris Sale-like trade. And that's the conversation we've been having on here the last couple weeks. I think that's what we're all waiting for. And that's where this offseason is, where, yeah, you're going to have to make a trade, but you're also going to have to spend some real money in terms of, you know, a pitcher or getting a big piece that's going to change the outlook of the 2023 Red Sox that probably rivals a deal that looked like Trevor Story's or even more from a couple years ago.
I don't want to get too excited about it right now. Jake, do you have an off-season wish list by any chance?
I mean, Yamamoto would be sick. I'm just honestly hoping we make a splash. Like, we've been waiting for this big moves coming from Chaim for a few years now, and it does feel like this offseason is going to be the time.
Do you feel that way, Tyler? Do you feel that we're trending? Like, I don't. I'm not trying to snuff out any excitement here. But I'm not telling you that I don't think anything major is going to happen. I am telling you that I know better than to expect it.
I think that's fair. Like, I saw someone that was like kind of having this conversation, like, you know, they're trolling, they're bringing up tweets I had from like a year ago. And they're like, I spoke a lot about 2023 and how I thought that was going to be what 2024 is going to be. Now, that was before the Xander Bogaerts situation happened. That was with the belief that they were going to get Xander Bogaerts and they were going to go over the luxury tax. That was the original plan. That's why Nate Eovaldi's deal was on the table. They were planning for this year to be what we're looking at as 2024, where you're over the luxury tax and pushing. When Xander left, the foundation cracked. We've had this convo a million times on here. Now you've rebuilt the foundation. There's a legit one here. You have to shoot this year. It's the last year of the deals for Bloom and for Cora. You know, if this thing doesn't start to take off and go in the direction it needs to, there's no excuses. You can't wait anymore. You can't. Your farm system, is it the fourth best in baseball, like Fangraph says? That's a very strong ranking for them. But I think they are top 10. I do believe that. You don't have any excuses. You can't wait. You already got your mulligan. 2023 was your mulligan for 2022, where they let you rebuild and take a step back. Now you need to take that step forward and be aggressive, because you don't even have the breathing room if this year had been a competitive year window for them, where they were actually trying to chase a World Series, where you could say, all right, well, they shot, went over the luxury tax back-to-back years and played it out. No, John Henry let you take a step back. Now you got to use your assets. You have no excuses. You have everything. You have money. You have prospects. You have young core. What more do you need to get this team to be a World Series contender? Look around you. The Yankees. The Yankees are clearly in a weird spot where they're aging. That core does not look
They're
very
in a
good.
terrible spot. It's not a weird spot. They're in a terrible spot.
Some people are really going off about their Baseball America Top 100. They had 7 guys land on there. So, they're feeling better about their farm system. Whatever. The Yankees, they're not in a good spot. We can tell. In that division, you got the Orioles who aren't going anywhere. The Rays, they're murdering all their pitchers. Who knows what they're going to look like over the next couple of years? Because next year, they're going to have all guys coming back from Tommy John. And then the Blue Jays, their window's closing. It's not opening. Why can't it be the Red Sox pushing there? Why can't you be a team that pushes for that World Series and competes in this AL East? It's go time. There's no exceptions or no excuses where you can justify it in any other way. This is the time. If Bloom can't be cut out to make those moves to push them into that, circle of teams where we talk about them winning a World Series, then he isn't cut out for the job. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah. Make or break. It's make or break. Are you on the side of the fence that I was on a few episodes ago, the trade deadline reaction podcast where I said, why the fuck is James Paxton still here?
No, I feel pretty similar because of the QO. I really haven't changed. I think Paxton, I've always said it. I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs. I've had them not making it even when things were going well.
You're going to make James Paxton the qualifying offer at the end of the year?
Yeah, I'm willing. As long as nothing goes wrong.
You're going to give him, $20 million next year?
On a 1-year deal, I have no problem doing that at all. 1-year deal for a mid-rotation starter, $20 million, not a problem.
$20 million for James Paxton next year?
A 1-year deal. If you're going over the luxury tax, it doesn't matter. You're not on some strict money set here where you can't go anywhere. What, you're going to pay $15 million? What's $5 million one way or the other?
Is Chris Sale still here?
Yeah, at that point, that also factors into that rotation question. But we know they've considered moving him as well.
Are you going to pay $50 million to James Paxton and Chris Sale next year? That's a little crazy.
It's a fair conversation piece on that. But if James Paxton can show he's healthy, do you think he can make 25 starts a year?
It's not even is he healthy the rest of this year? It's can you count on him to be healthy for a full season next year? No.
I think you could take that risk on a 1-year deal. I wouldn't want to go multiple years. I'd be kind of cautious with that whole situation. But I think in a perfect world, you get the QO and you can kind of pivot in another direction. But if he takes the 1 year, $20 million, am I crying if he's your number 3 starter? No, I'm not. And they've already told you they were willing to give him 2 years, $26 million if he had just come back healthy last year to pitch. So they believe in his ability, and they pretty much are telling you they believe in him being able to stay healthy.
It's ballsy.
If next year's rotation, right, we play this game is something like Yamamoto, Bayo, Paxton, Cutter, Houck, Whitlock in the 5, and the 4's Chris Sale, how do you feel?
I'm not ready for these conversations.
It's a high ceiling. And I'm
not ready for these. I'm not ready. It's fucking August 11th. Calm down.
All I'm saying is, just to put it in perspective, Nate Eovaldi's making what, 17, 18 million this year?
Yeah.
What's the difference? Right?
Nate Eovaldi has the fucking second lowest ERA in baseball, and he's a workhorse. James
of
Paxton
course
does not, and he's having a good year.
Nate Eovaldi breaks down every single season. Let's grow up here. He's had one season where he didn't break down.
So does James Paxton.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's all it is. We're talking about the same bar here. Nate Eovaldi's breaking down every year except 2021. We can go through it. This year, he's on the IL, forearm problems. Last year, 20 starts. 2021 was awesome, 32 starts. He got fucking hurt during the COVID year. 2019, 23 games, 12 starts.
Would you rather have Nathan Eovaldi for 17 or James Paxton for 20?
Nate Eovaldi for 17?
Yeah, no shit. The fact
you mean money?
Think about
I thought you were talking like number of starts. For money? I'd probably lean Nate Eovaldi 17, but I don't look at James Paxton 20 and say that's an awful deal.
Yeah.
I'd say if you're going over the luxury tax, $3 million doesn't mean shit to me. I'm okay if you're paying a little over $3 million and you have the depth to deal with it.
Yeah. Well, sounds like you need a blue moon.
I'll take a sip.
Just a sip?
A couple sips.
Couple sips?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, Jake, is there somewhere that maybe Tyler could get an ice cold blue moon?
I'll tell you exactly where you can find some blue moons. But first, playoffs are just around the corner. So it's time to help your team out by sticking to your lucky rituals, like the ritual of enjoying an ice-cold Blue Moon while the game is on. Blue Moon was born in a ballpark, first brewed at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Make it your one-of-a-kind baseball tradition whether you're at the park or watching from home. You know where you can find those Blue Moons? You can find them on your fucking doorstep when I send you a pack. Tyler's going through it right now, so I want everyone to go to Twitter right now and tweet Tyler and tell him your favorite thing about Tyler. Best tweet I see, I'm going to shoot you a DM and I'm going to send you a 12-pack of Blue Moons right to your door. Tyler, enjoy this while it lasts because on Sunday I'm going back to throwing haymakers at you. With its refreshing flavor with Valencia orange peel for a subtle sweetness and hints of coriander, Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale is a one-of-a-kind beer that's made brighter. It's carefully crafted and full-flavored with refreshing notes and a smooth, creamy finish. Blue Moon was brewed by baseball to give you a dose of nostalgia and get you excited for the new season. Why strike out with the same old beer when you can get something one-of-a-kind? Its bold flavor, bright color, and iconic orange slice ritual guarantee a one-of-a-kind beer experience perfect for spring weather. Best served with its signature orange garnish to showcase its beautiful bright color. A beer this good only comes around once in a blue moon, but you can enjoy it all season long. Brighten up your baseball traditions with Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale. It's one of a kind every time. Check out shop.bluemoonbrewingcompany.com for baseball merch and visit get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared to find Blue Moon delivery options. That's get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared. Blue Moon, made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado Ale.
Thank you, Jake. Appreciate you as always. We're gonna get to some ketchup in just a little bit, and we're gonna be doing some Stop and Shop look ahead. There's no Red Sox lottery on this show, sadly. Did you want the lottery, Tyler? You look like
that's a Sunday thing. I always look forward to that at the end of the weekend. I'm like, oh,
just ask it.
Are you missing the lottery?
Just ask it.
I do think there's something we have to talk about from the games.
What's that?
Nick Pivetta. And you had a little Nick Pivetta love on your timeline. What, yesterday?
Yeah, he unfollowed me, but I don't
whoa.
care. Yeah. I mean, if he really doesn't like you, he'll block you. Like, I know, like, reporters that he's blocked, being like, but
I didn't take him as that kind of guy. That's interesting.
I mean, I don't care. I mean, I think it's more like, I think he probably followed me in 21. Like, 21 was a fun year. So, like, I probably only said positive things. Like, this is a year where it's a down. It's not a down year, but there's a lot of negativity this year, and I think that there's a lot of rightful criticism. And I don't think I've said anything unfair. It's right on down to saying Caleb Ward sucks. I'll say it again. He sucks. I don't think I've said anything fair or like crass or rude, but like they're on the team, so I don't have a problem with a guy like Nick Pivetta being like, oh, like you said something about one of my teammates, so now I don't like you. It's no surprise, right, that like Nick Pivetta liked me until he moved to the bullpen. Who's out in the bullpen? Put two and two.
Oh, that's a good way to connect the dots. And
yeah,
I've seen a lot of people kind of on both of our tweets, like saying, well, you should apologize to Nick Pivetta for what he's done. Dude, he got demoted to the bullpen for a reason. I know the Nick Pivetta truthers want to sit there and take a victory lap one way or the other. There's a reason he got demoted. He had to go figure some shit out there, and he has, and we've seen some of the differences he's had kind of going here, where now he's implementing that slider more. Last year, he threw it 2.1% of the time. Now he's throwing it 19.1% of the time. He's also throwing a sweeper, only throws it 3% of the time, but it's another thing that allows that big curveball and that fastball to play. He's made adjustments, and good for him, because there was a reason when people were saying, go DFA Nick Pivetta. Did we ever say that on this podcast?
No. I mean, I think the only thing that we pointed out was that he was saying, like, I belong in the rotation. And we were like, no, you don't. Like, no, you don't. Like, you're getting
your manager felt that way.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I don't give a fuck anymore, man. Like when it comes to this team, like if someone has an issue with something that I said, it honestly blows my mind when they get so butthurt about it, because it's nothing that other people aren't also saying, but it's almost like when I say it hurts them more. I don't know. It's a weird phenomenon, but Yeah, I think, when he got moved to the bullpen, we were like, yeah, dude, I don't know why you're combating this and saying like, I'm a starter, I've been a starter, I'm going to be a starter, yada yada. Like, no, you're not. You're going to be a reliever tomorrow. So go to the bullpen. So, but I mean, I've given him credit the whole way. I mean, I haven't said anything bad about Pivetta. I mean, like, what bad is there to say? He's been fucking awesome. And even though it's like, all right, well, you obviously snuggled up next to Josh Winkowski and he put the negative thoughts in your head, and I'm not your teammate. He's your teammate. You should take his side. I'm not offended. I don't take it personal, and I'm still going to give you compliments. And I complimented Nick Pivetta after his most recent outing, and I don't take it personal. It is what it is.
He stepped up, and we always said, if you were willing to buy in, which you didn't do in Philly, that's why you ended up here in Boston in the first place. Go read the articles. We read them on here. He bought in, and he's fixed it. He's changed some stuff with his arsenal, and it's worked for him. It's a 2.67 ERA, 3.40 FIP, and 57 in a third inning since the demotion. And what stuck out to me more than anything, this was a very old school performance. It's something we don't see in baseball, where he threw, I think, 66 pitches on Saturday. He was on short rest and making a start, ends up throwing 90 pitches and goes 5 innings and 2 earned runs. MJ Melendez terrorizing him with 2 homers. That's rare. That speaks to me, and I have to tip my cap, because in this sport today, we see how careful guys are with pitchers. This was throwback. This was someone who was willing to go out there and just fire bullets. His arm is always ready to go, and it's part of the reason he's been so pivotal the last couple months to them surviving these injuries. But I was surprised to see them let him go as long as they did, and I thought it was pretty damn cool. I think it speaks to the guy Nick Pivetta is and the kind of teammate he is, because he's willing to step in those gaps and put himself at risk. A lot of pitchers would not even be willing to do what he did and, throw that many pitches on short rest. So props to him, and Alex Cora showed him a ton of love after the game, and I thought it was well-deserved.
I agree. I think that he's been outstanding. So props to Nick Pivetta. Pivetta.
I think there's another name, too, we got to touch on in this series.
What?
Alex Verdugo.
Yeah.
Coming off, right?
Yeah. Getting it going with the bat again. Nice little sliding catch, double off the runner at first tonight.
5 for 12 since that benching, not including tonight. And he had a big sack fly.
And outside of, I mean, I'm not even going to blame him for like lying about the reason why. Like, I don't care. It is what it is. Like, that's between him and Alex anyway, Cora. Outside of like not telling the truth about why he was benched, he handled it fine. Like, he's not been pouty. He hasn't been moody. He hasn't mailed it in. Wasn't that something that was like a reporter said that you can like see that he like mailed it in or something like that?
Alex Spare's column was like, when they were trying to trade him, execs were like, he's been checked out for a month plus already.
How the fuck do they know? How do executives from other teams be like, yeah, like, I got a good read on Alex Verdugo's body language? Like, are you really fucking not just watching Red Sox baseball games, but you're watching his body language? The fuck do you know?
I did think there was a interesting part that Castillo was talking about the last couple of years. I think there's just a perspective on Alex Verdugo in baseball that's not a positive one by most execs. And it goes back to the Dodgers days where, part of the trouble he did get into back then and his work ethic were real questions. It's the reason why they were willing to trade him to the Red Sox, right? And the Red Sox thought they were going to capitalize. Kenley Jansen said Alex Verdugo could be a Hall of Famer. That's coming from a guy who's a borderline Hall of Famer. That says a lot. But Chris Castillo talked about the last 2 years. He's tried to write a piece talking about Verdugo's maturity and the steps he's taken forward as a player, figuring it out. Last year when he went to write it, I believe that, he was kind of going along. He was talking to Justin Turner, or he talked to Kike Hernandez. He had reached out to some former Dodgers players at the time, got all these quotes, started doing the background on the story, got a phone call. And they were kind of like, he's not as mature as you think he is, right? Like, someone from the Red Sox organization called him and was like, hold on that story. Do not pump his tires that way. Like, there's shortcomings in certain spots, and he needs to keep working on those. Apparently, he tried to write the same story again this year, got quotes from like Justin Turner, Kike again, and then he got benched. And he was like, well, I can't write it now. So, like, I think there is a belief in baseball circles and behind the scenes that, he just doesn't live up to what his ability is. He doesn't put in the work to reach the heights he could be.
That's fair.
I bet there's a lot of players you could say that with in baseball. How many guys in any workplace reach their potential, right? People. How many people do you look at and you're like, they could be better, but they don't push themselves in that way?
Yeah.
So it's a sad reality of life. I think it's hard when you look at someone like Verdugo, who we all see it. He could be one of the better hitters in all of baseball from a batting average standpoint, but I think that's what floats around with his name and unfortunately his reputation. And that's why when this stuff happened the last couple of days, Ken Rosenthal in his article was like, the Red Sox are better just throwing Verdugo away for nothing. Like, grow up. Can we be honest about the player here? He was the best player on the team the first 2 months of the year. He plays a Gold Glove right field, and his bat will bounce back. He hits. It's not like he's some worthless player. And the way Ken Rosenthal was talking about him was like he was some fucking joke they just keep around on the team. No, he's a good above average player. He just has his warts. That's the reality of it. Doesn't mean you don't get frustrated. Doesn't mean you don't hold him accountable. But you're not going to throw him away for pennies on the dollar for no reason.
No. It's going to be interesting to see what the approach that they take this offseason with him, though. I mean, I feel like that's going to be a dialogue until the Red Sox come out and flat out say, I mean, because we may find that out. You know what? We won't. I was going to say like the end of the year press conference. Like that's not something that they would address in like the first week of November.
You think we could get like a Cora message again? Like,
no, yes, I do. I think that we could get something from Cora being like, hey, like that's a guy, like be about it. Don't just talk about it. Like this is, if you want your extension, it's right there in front of you. Like something like that. Maybe we could see that. But I'm thinking along the lines of like that trade rumor is going to be a narrative until the Red Sox say that it's not. Which could be something like at the winter meetings that Heim speaks in December and is like, yeah, Alex is not a player that we're looking to move right now. Like I think it's just going to be, when is it happening until the Red Sox say that it's not.
And like, I'll say it. What happens if Jarren Duran goes cold over the next 6 weeks? Like,
I don't think that's enough to change how they feel about him.
I think that could make them go and say, well, how certain is our outfield next year? Right? Like if Jarren Duran cools off and kind of goes through some serious struggles, I don't think that means they don't like the player or whatever it may be, but how willing are they to move off of a piece? Right? Because look at Ceddanne Rafaela. I've been hard on Ceddanne Rafaela's hit tool. I know, I hear it. Trust me. Baseball America didn't put him on their top 100. So those concerns are there. Ian Cundall's been all over him. He was on the baseball hour with me and talking about some of the concerns they still have as an organization. It is hard to move off from a piece like Alex Verdugo on this team because you're going to have to find someone who's better than an above average player already in right field. It's not an easy solution. Just plugging, even if it is Ceddanne Rafaela and saying this guy is going to be ready to go right when he starts. No, we know it takes time. Look, Jarren Duran took 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people forget that Jarren Duran was on the 2021 Boston Red Sox.
What if it takes Rafaela 3 years to become the guy he needs to be here?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of Red Sox fans look back and they're like, yeah, the Jarren Duran story began in the 28-5 Blue Jays game. It's like, no. He was in the playoffs with the Red Sox. He was in the dugout when they were in the postseason. He was there. Go back and check it. All right. Any other thoughts from the Royal series?
I don't think so. No.
Jake, you got anything else that stood out to you in that series?
Specifically tonight, I was kind of pumped when Cora was talking about Doogie in the press conference after the game, just being like, yeah, his defense has been huge for us this year. Like his arm got a lot better. I just think that's nice to see. He's obviously been singled out a lot and we've covered the drama with him extensively, but that's just AC being a good manager. Just hopefully Doogie hears that and takes it to heart a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for, people will say, oh, he's a punching bag and, he always goes after him and blah, 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 blah. Like you've got to also give him his flowers. And he's done that periodically when he's deserved them. I think he's been fair. So yeah. Who's that motherfucker that hated this song?
Fuck him.
Louder.
Fuck him.
Cancel. Clark's Ketchup Series MVP. Series MVP.
Clark's Ketchup Series MVP brought to you by Clark's Ketchup. Drizzle that ketchup. Man, this one, I feel like it's going to be an open and shut case, Johnson. I don't think that we're going to have a whole lot of debate as far as who the Clark's Ketchup Series MVP is going to be for this August series against the Kansas City Royals. 4-game set. You want the numbers?
Feed them to me.
Okay. I'll give you those numbers. I think it's going to be an absolute blowout in the voting.
I don't know. I have a sneaky underrated pick in my head already that I know is not going to be the one we discuss off top.
A sneaky underrated pick?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know where you're going with that. Actually, you know what? I feel like I might know where you're going with that. All right. It's not even close, dude. Here we go. Leading the Red Sox in this series in batting average, Pablo Reyes hit .533. The next closest was Reese McGuire, who hit .333. Pablo Reyes did not walk once in this series, so his on-base percentage is also .533. Slugging percentage, Pablo Reyes, .867. Next closest was Adam Duvall, .583. Not even close. OPS, 1,400 for Pablo Reyes. The next closest, .833. That's Adam Duvall. Weighted on-base average? You want some WOBA in your life?
Please.
Pablo Reyes at 601. Adam Duvall at 351. So that doesn't seem like it's very close to me. How about hits? Pablo Reyes had twice as many hits as the next guy. 8 hits. Next closest was Tristan Casas with 4. The breakdown, 5 singles, 2 doubles, and a homer, which was a walk-off grand slam. He also scored 4 runs, drove in 4, obviously, on the walk-off grand slam. The total bases, Pablo Reyes, 13. Next closest, Adam Duvall and Tristan Casas, both with 7. So, yeah, I don't know who your fucking sneaky pick is, Tyler, but you better sneak the fuck on out of here if it's not Pablo Reyes.
Oh, so with the votes, right? We'll go through the votes, but did you get all Pablo Reyes votes?
Let's find out. Let's find out when we go to the voting here. All right. Opening up the voting panel here. Let's head on over to our manager. Let's head on over to Alex Cora. What does he got to say? He says, you know what? It's Pablo. Next up, Loomer. Loomer Loney. You know what he says? He says Reyes. That's Pablo Reyes, for those who aren't keeping score at home. Kevin Youkilis. I said, who you like for this one? He says Reyes. That's Pablo Reyes. Another vote for him. Will Middlebrooks. He says, give me Petey Pablo. It's another vote for Pablo Reyes. I asked Dave O'Brien. I said, hey, who you got? He said, gotta go Pablo. They were like, hey, TC. Tom Karen. The face of Nessa. Who you like, TC? He said, come on. It's Pablo Reyes' world, and we're just living in it. Then I was like, hey, Jemai, who you got for Clark's Ketchup Series MVP? You know what Jemai said? He said, come on, man. Give it to my dude, Pablo Reyes. And then last but not least,
It has been too long. Clark's Ketchup Series MVP. No Monaco, no Merlone, just your boy Will. And I've got to tell you guys, I got a little reprimanded. I got told when I submit these things, I just got to watch myself. No foul language. I got to stick between the lines. So with that in mind, the Clark's Ketchup Series MVP is Pablo motherfucking Reyes.
Let's go, Will!
That felt so wrong. Like, it felt so right, but so wrong. Oh my God. That was, can you hit that? Can I hear the motherfucking one more time? Please?
Man, that hit like a ton of bricks. Oh man.
Is Pablo motherfucking Reyes.
Yeah!
Fire me. Dude, that was amazing. Thank you, Will.
Oh
Jesus.
man. Wow. With that being said, Pablo Reyes. Actually, no, we didn't vote yet. Just in case you want to get in there. Jake, who you got?
Got Pablo.
You got Pablo?
Yep.
Tyler, who do you got on this one?
All right. I was talking up a potential other option. I can't go against Pablo Reyes here. It is Pablo Reyes. My little packet I'm throwing to, I'll throw some packets to Chris Martin. Excellent in the bullpen.
Okay, that's not who I thought you were going to go with.
8th inning throughout this entire series. He didn't give up a run. Winkowski, Jansen did. He's the constant steady and the best arm in the bullpen. You can always depend on him.
It's a good packet. It's a good
A
packet.
little love to Martin.
Yeah, it's a packet. Coley's vote ruins the unanimous vote.
Oh, who would he vote for?
Reese McGuire.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Can you
Crazy.
explain it? Just because of the throw?
Yeah, he threw someone out. Yeah. Terrible.
Throw up.
I'm also voting for the should be unanimous Clark's Ketchup Series MVP. His name is Pablo Reyes. Congratulations to Pablo Reyes. Clark's Ketchup Series MVP. That's huge. That's a big one.
Amazing mic'd up person as well, by the way.
Yeah. It's big. Thank you, Pablo. Thank you, Pablo.
You see the clip of him talking about how comfy the City Connect uniforms are?
No, I did not.
Oh my, I've had it stuck in my head. Like, these are so comfy. And he just kept saying it over and over to himself.
Where was it?
It's on the Nesson Twitter page. They posted it today. Just like him running or, sitting at shortstop, kind of warming up a little bit. Dude is just living his best life.
I love this uniform. It's comfy. Comfy. Like the color.
He likes the color. Okay.
He's a vibe.
Yeah, good for him. I like Pablo Reyes. I'm a Pablo Reyes guy. Before we get into the Stop and Shop look ahead, there was an update today. Speaking of the Detroit Tigers coming to town. I shared it with you guys earlier. The silence has been broken.
I don't remember.
Stupid, Tyler?
Yes, actually. My phone's dead.
It's been
You
over
texted
a
it?
year. Yeah. I said it's been a year since I've heard from this person.
Oh, yes. That was crazy. That was so
Crazy.
random.
But that's how I described him. Like sometimes he's in, sometimes he's out.
I didn't make the Detroit connection when you said it in my head right away.
Yeah. So after, I don't know, a year and change, I finally heard from my guy Eddie. Yeah, from the clouds.
Now, obviously, I don't want you to have to reveal if you said anything else, but was there anything more than...
Yeah, we talked a little bit.
He's good. Things are chilling. He's happy.
That's Eddie, man. sometimes he's in the picture. Sometimes he's not. But when he's back, he's back. And when it's good, it's good. So
I believe I can't speak on JD, but he did text Mookie back, right?
I don't know. I didn't see that. I just saw in the original article. No, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I read that he texted him back a week or two after or whatever it was, and was just like positive. He's like, hey man, shit was going on, yada yada, and Mookie was just like, man, I'm happy you're doing what's good for your family, but it was well after the deadline and everything played out.
Yeah. I mean, he's just getting back to me from fucking March of 2022.
Phone service is tough in Detroit, man.
Yeah, it's not good. July 6th, 2022.
Oh, yeah.
Was the last time that I had reached out.
13 months.
I'm happy. I'm gonna be happy to see him. I don't know whether to wait. Fuck, I didn't fucking. Oh no, I didn't apply. I didn't apply for a press pass tomorrow. Fuck.
You're Jared Kravis. You could just walk in.
I definitely can, and I probably will try that. But oh fuck, I didn't apply for a press pass.
Do you think he's going to be very into the conversation about talking about just, being back in Boston in that way?
I mean, apparently I'm not going to interview him because we didn't apply for press passes. This is why I get so mad that they don't give me the season pass, because I work every single day. So it doesn't register in my brain that it's fucking Thursday and they need 24 hours to approve the credential. So I'm like, I don't have a credential for tomorrow.
Sorry.
I don't know. Maybe I just won't go. I want to see Eddie, but it's a whole fucking thing now to get a press pass on time. I've asked a million times for the full season pass, and every time it's I don't know, I get a different answer. But yeah, that's really frustrating.
I don't encourage violence, but what happens if you beat up Catillo and you just took his?
I don't look like him.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll figure something out. Because if it were, I'm trying to think if it were the Blue Jays series, then I would have been like, yeah, whatever, that's fine. I can skip that. But I want to see Eddie.
What do you do?
And I can't go Saturday, and he's pitching on Sunday, so I have to go tomorrow.
What about a little Friday night fun?
What?
After the game, Eddie, hey, let's go out and I'll talk to you for a minute. Maybe we can just, chop it up like boys.
No.
Don't ever do that again.
No. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a thing. Unfortunately. Well, I'm really mad now.
Why does it take so long to do something like this?
I have no idea, but those are the rules, is that if you're going to apply for a press pass, you have to give them 24 hours notice. So.
Well, the game, if you do it right now.
That's 24 hours from now.
Wow. I did 12 hours.
Stupid asshole.
I'm an idiot. Cut that out, Jake.
No, leave it in. I'm depressed now. What am I going to do?
I don't know. I don't know how to fix this. I feel bad.
I guess I'm just not going to go, which sucks. I was really looking forward to seeing Eddie.
Who's going to stop you?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
So you walk in, right? I'm walking into Fenway. What's up? What's up, guys?
You have to go through security, and they have to scan your pass.
Oh, I thought it was one of those things you keep in your pocket, and they'll can I see your pass? And you flash it to them.
If I had the full season pass, then that would be the case, but I don't. I have
might be screwed.
For every game that I'm credentialed, I have to apply for it beforehand, which is extremely frustrating because then stuff like this happens. And then every time that it happens, then I complain. I'm like, why can't I have the full season pass? This would solve this problem for me. Yada, yada.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, you can hang with me.
God, I'd rather die.
Okay. Fuck you.
Why would you say that?
Because fuck you.
Why would you say that? That's
I
really
opened my
mean.
arms to you, and you said I'd rather die.
Tyler, that is such a false invite. Like if I said, yeah, Tyler, tomorrow night, yeah, all right, I can't go to the game, but me and you, let's hang out. You'd be like, well, actually,
And why do you think I hate you?
I'm not saying that you hate me. I'm just saying that you definitely don't do things.
I'd love to hang out with you. Tomorrow I
know
do
you
have the
would,
baseball
but you
hour
won't.
till 7, though.
All right. When are we going to do the baseball hour? Do you know?
I want to apologize because I did get a lot of tweets from people. I had a family thing.
That is
unfortunately
just not something that you have to apologize for.
Thank you. But I'm sorry that obviously we talked about doing it. And I know there are people who are excited to call in and listen.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a family thing pop up that, has to be taken care of. But we'll get it going. It'll happen at some point. I'm not overly concerned on that. But yeah,
I don't know
sorry
when it's
for
gonna
the
happen
no
now,
warning.
'cause I've got a bunch of shit. I'm going to be so fucking busy the rest of this month. Like, I already want it to be September, and it's only the fucking 11th. This podcast took a turn. I'm very pissed off now.
Hey, you're going to be rich off Twitter.
That's true.
And you could buy as many media passes as you want.
Well, I don't need to pay for them, but maybe
But you can.
I think what I would probably do is pay someone to just apply to every fucking game so I don't have to sit there every goddamn weekend and apply for the pass. It'll just like I'll apply for all of them.
I have to tell you something.
What's that?
I'm credentialed.
For Friday?
No, for the Woo Sox.
Oh. Okay. The fuck does that have to do with anything? You're credentialed for the Woo Sox.
I am. So,
Okay.
if you like my pass, I can give it to you.
To go to Worcester, you mean?
Yeah, maybe it works in Fenway. I haven't tried it yet.
No, I don't think it does.
I got one for you too, Jake.
I'm so mad, Jake.
Yeah, that's tough.
I mean, I would be way more mad if this were the Dodger series. And it's
that would be a
Mookie,
disaster.
JD. Yeah.
It's like 12 interviews.
I think I would just sneak in. I would just sneak in at that point.
All right. Why can't you apply for Saturday?
I got shit to do on Saturday.
Oh, okay. So there's that.
Yeah. I'm so mad at myself.
Hey, we'll have Eddie on one day.
I don't even think, like, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know that he would have even done an interview tomorrow. I don't think he wants to talk about most of this shit. Most of the questions that people would be like, how did you not ask that? He doesn't want to be asked those questions. It's not a matter of like, oh, you don't have the balls to ask a question. Like, it just would have been nice to see him.
Well, it's that. And, I think his agent put out the message he did for a reason. Yeah. Like you don't get those kind of statements from an agent usually. That kind of just say like, this is why he
Plus,
chose
I don't
to stay.
care. I don't care. Like, it's your decision. I don't give a fuck about that stuff.
It's the whole point of negotiating the contract, right? Like, so that you have that right.
Yeah. Maybe I'll try and finagle something tomorrow. I just
let it go.
Because I think it's still possible for me to get credentialed, but what I know is coming is I know that you have to apply within 24 hours, but I'm definitely going to get an email back being like, next time, apply 24. I know. I forgot.
Hey,
I didn't know what
Jared.
day it was.
We're really happy to
day
see
it
you
was.
at Fenway today. It was awesome having you around. But next time, do you mind if you could actually apply 24 hours before? It makes the whole
'cause
process a lot easier.
I know for them, it's a pain in the ass. They have to like override the system and shit. And it's a whole to do. And I get it. But I'm more mad at myself.
Just make sure it doesn't happen again.
I
Please
can't
don't kill
remember. I've already done it once. I think it was last year, maybe. It might have been last year. Yeah, I think it was last year. Or I forgot. I was like, fuck.
You're getting angrier and angrier as every moment passes.
Yeah. Because I already know that that's coming. Like, I already know that, like,
Hey, you're not going. You're not going. There's no reason to be mad.
I'm going to go for Eddie.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to try for Eddie. I'm going to try.
He'd do it for you.
I don't know that he would. I don't know. Maybe. You never know. You don't know what the fucking guy.
Yeah, it took 13 months for him to text you back. You know, we're gonna try everything we can to make it happen on 24 hours notice.
Yeah. I mean, all right. We'll see. Stop and Shop Look Ahead, brought to you by Stop and Shop. I'm so fucking mad right now.
Reel it in.
The return of Chris Sale. It's the return of Chris Sale versus Tarek Skubal. Brian Bayo versus Matthew Manning, and then Cutter Crawford versus Eduardo Rodriguez. That, by the way, the Sunday Erod start is 12:05 on the Cock. It's a weird start time for a Sunday, but it's because it's the Peacock game. The Red Sox, by the way, they swept the Tigers earlier in the year. They outscored them 24-9. But it is the return of Chris Sale. How do you feel about the return of Chris Sale?
I think this is the least hype people have ever been for a Chris Sale return. Like, think about all the other times we've talked about Chris Sale in the last couple of years. Everyone was talking about it the week leading up. It's all anyone could think about. This time around, feels like everyone's like, all right, Chris Sale's throwing on Friday. Like, let's kind of see what happens. I think nobody's expecting a ton. Overall, it's kind of just like whatever you get is what you get. He's going to be limited. I think they're looking for 4 innings. It's going to be like 40, 50 pitches. Hopefully, he just makes it out of there healthy. I'm not asking for much. Just be competitive. Hopefully, he's sharper than the way he looked at the beginning of this year. Somewhere between what we saw before he got hurt and, you know, a guy who's trying to still get his reps underneath him and get his feet underneath him. I don't expect him to be perfect, but I hope he's closer to that version than the beginning of 2023 version.
I agree with you. This is the least hyped Chris Sale return of all the Chris Sale returns, and there's been plenty. My expectations are low. I don't think he's going to get shelled. When I say my expectations are low, I mean, like, what was his velocity when he in his last rehab outing?
91, 93.
Yeah, see, like that's what I mean by low expectations. Like, I don't think he's going to be throwing 95, 96. I think it's going to be a gradual thing, and as it should be. Like, he doesn't need to air it out and blow his fucking shoulder out again. Just, you know, whatever you can give us. If it's give the Red Sox a chance to win, and I'm fine with that. It's a fine enough team to try and make a comeback against the Detroit Tigers. They're not a good team.
It's gonna be a hard day for that bullpen tomorrow because, like, Chris Martin, Kenley, and Wink have pitched 3 out of 4 days. They're all going to be down.
Yeah.
So, like, they're probably going to try to pair him, you know, Kyle Barraclaw or something like that, and hope for the best and see how far it takes him. But I don't know. I think with Sale, the reality is he's going to let it loose at some point. He can't help himself. It's just how long does it take before he pulls out the fuck you? Is it because he can't get through an inning because the stuff's not playing enough and he's like, fuck it, I got to reach back for it? I wouldn't be surprised if he hits 95 or 96 one time, but I just don't expect the velocity to hold throughout the outing. It's going to take a bit before, you know, we saw earlier this year, he really couldn't have consistent velocity until around May.
Right. He also, like you said, he just can't help himself.
Nope. So he'll snap, and he'll, not in terms of an injury, maybe in terms of an injury, but eventually he's going to let it go when he feels like he needs to.
He'll give up a homer, and then his first pitch to the next guy is going to be 97.
Yeah, that's Chris Sale, and I think they know at this point you can't stop him. So, like, hopefully it lasts long enough to get you through 6 weeks of the season. And Whitlock will be back Sunday.
He will be?
Yep. He had his first rehab outing, yesterday now? Tanner Houck was supposed to go today, but they got rained out down there. But Whitlock went 2 1/3, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 3 Ks, 0 walks, and 1 hit by pitch. 28 pitches in the first inning. He scuffled. The next 2 innings, he set the side down in order. So getting his feet wet and kind of where he needs to be, but it's 1 rehab and he's back up.
There you go. So it's a weekend of returns. Chris Sale's coming back. Garrett Whitlock's coming back. What's the latest on Tanner Houck?
He was supposed to make a rehab start tonight. It didn't happen. You know, Cora said he was hoping they'd all be back by April or August 15th for the Washington National Series. Wouldn't be surprised if Houck's a little behind that at this point.
Okay.
Seems like he's battling everything a little bit more in terms of just getting his mechanics right.
Yeah. All right. Predictions for this series? Jake?
Going back to the sweep.
Sox sweep.
Sox sweep.
Sox sweep. Okay. Fair. Tyler, what do you have?
I'm a little scared of this series. I won't lie. I think the pitching matchups kind of are pretty interesting. There's no easy games here, especially Eddie in the last one versus Cutter. But I'll go 2 out of 3. I think Chris Sale ends up giving you a little bit more than you expect. He's sharper than many people would have thought. Brian Bayo continues to trend upwards after scuffling, after the All-Star break. Strings a couple good starts together here. I don't love that Sunday game against Cutter. And I'm a little worried about Cutter down the stretch here. I think that arm wear is going to catch up to him a little bit. I don't like his velocity trending down because I think his stuff doesn't play as well with lesser velocity. So give me 2 out of 3. I think they take the first 2.
I got 1 out of 3.
Whoa. I can't hate on it. It went through my mind too.
I got 1 out of 3. They win the middle game, the Bayo game.
Tomorrow, if Sale only makes it 2 innings, God help them. They're going to punt on the game immediately.
That's what I'm saying. It could be a long day at the office.
Yeah. It's not ideal. And I think where they are, they'll say, all right, well, we think we can, hopefully win 2 in a row against them to take the series. But if you were to drop against the Tigers, that is a serious blow to your momentum. You're 4 games within a wild card spot right now. You made a little ground up today. You can't really afford to take too many steps back here.
Oh, boy. Well, that's depressing. But that's just how I feel. That's my gut. That's my gut on that one. Hope I'm wrong. But we're in the heat of the summer, and you need a pair of great shades that you don't have to baby. Knockaround Sunglasses is the go-to for quality polarized shades that won't break the bank. Plus, they just released the first set of teams for their official MLB collection, including the Red Sox and the Yankees, as well as official U.S. women's soccer team sunglasses, so you can add a little something extra to your game day outfit for this summer's big games. Don't be the person that's squinting into the sun or worried about getting sand on their overpriced sunglasses. Check out knockaround.com for great polarized shades starting at just $28. Use the promo code ROCKET, and that'll get you free shipping on your order. That's pretty cool. Got a bunch of teams, but I do have those sunglasses that I was waiting to give to Tyler. And then he just bailed on me.
Oh, how dare you.
Oh, my God.
I'm sorry. Sorry I bailed on you, Jared. that I just didn't show up because I didn't want to see you.
Mm-hmm. What else is new?
Fuck you.
A lot of people theorizing that when we were at the same game and we didn't see each other, that it was all your fault. A lot of people saying that too.
No, they weren't. They were actually agreeing. I read through that.
I don't know. No, I read every post and they were like, "Ooh, bad call."
Can I tell you
the T-Man?
Can I tell you someone who agreed with you?
Who?
Jay Stu.
Well, obviously he's my wise man.
Of course. But he's like, Tyler, I listened to the pod. He's like, I heard you and him go back and forth. He's like, you need to go see him. He's like, do you realize how it works? It's like, it's not that hard. You go see him. He's doing a charity thing. You get to say what's up. Obviously, fan of the podcast. It's a cool little way to say what's up and do the whole thing. So, if Jay Stu says it, I can acknowledge it and say maybe I could have gone about it a better way.
Yeah, you fucked up.
I just want you to put your arm around me.
You were double wrong.
Double wrong?
Yeah, we were with 2 fans of the podcast that donated to charity to go to the game with me and Steve. So for me to abandon them, that's fucked up, number 1. Number 2, if they're fans of the podcast and they're probably fans of Tyler Milliken's, they probably wanted to meet you as well. So you could have came over and made their day extra special, but you spat in their face.
I didn't spit.
Yep, you spat in their face. And number 3, if I get up at Fenway and walk over there, now that's 30 stop and chats. Now it would have taken me an hour to get to you and back. So that's 3 reasons why you should have gotten your fucking ass up, walked over to those people that were charitable donors and said, nice to meet you guys. Can I get you anything? And when they say no, you just give them something anyway.
What do you mean? Do I call I had a hard time. Some of the hot dog guys, right? Like I'm trying to get some dogs while I'm watching the game, and I'm like,
Okay.
doggy guy, doggy. Right? They're like, put my hand up. I'm trying to get a hot dog. They kept ignoring me, and Martha told me that's an ick for her now. It is me trying to call for a hot dog, and these guys ignoring me.
Yeah, that's a universal ick, I think. Yeah.
It was very embarrassing.
Yeah.
But I can bring hot dogs. I have snacks.
Well,
But who would have want to seen? Who would have want to seen Tyler Milliken
in the
with
state of Massachusetts? So you kind of blew it on that one, unfortunately.
I'm going to make you spend so much time with me, you can't stand me.
I would love that. Unlike you, I would appreciate our time together. I really would.
What happened to Bullet?
He died.
There's a real common theme happening where you just don't want to be around Jake.
Whoa.
You don't want to be around me. Sad. You don't want to be around Fenway. All the times that I go to Fenway Park and Fenway Park ambassadors, the workers will be like, "Where's Tyler?" You know how many times I get asked, "Where's Tyler?" You know what? I have to lie. I have to lie and be like, "Oh, no, he wants to be here. He's just not." That's a lie. He doesn't want to be here.
I do want to be at Fenway.
All right. Well, it's August, so it would be nice to go to a game with you before it starts fucking snowing outside. You know?
Let me know the day, and I'll be there with you.
You let me know the day.
You're busy.
Tyler Milliken, you know when I'm going to be there. You know my schedule. I'm there on Tuesdays and Fridays.
I didn't know that.
Jake, what days am I at Fenway?
Tuesdays and Fridays.
Jake,
Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesdays and Fridays. And I'll make exceptions. Somewhere I can't during the week, but like maybe like a Saturday or a Sunday, I would make an exception if that's like the only day that you can do. Help me help you, Tyler.
Maybe if I was part of the inner circle, I'd know what days.
Maybe if you paid attention. Maybe if you cared. Maybe if you cared, you would know what days that I'm there. But
all I know is when something personal happened to me the last couple of days, I contacted Jared Carabas and I checked in with him. I said, "Hey, I'm coming to you as a friend."
Me?
I did I not give you a call the other day?
You gave me a call, but I checked in with you.
Yes. I would say I came to you and then you checked in on me.
You notified me, and then I checked in with you.
That's what friends do.
That's what friends do. Just fucking J-Dog and T-Bird over there.
They call me T-Money.
Who's they?
I don't know. Oh, shout out to the people who I got a lot of comments about my Riz on Instagram the last couple days. Yes, someone called me the Wizard of Oz. You ever heard of that before?
Because you have a girlfriend?
Yeah. Some mean comments as well about not about her, but about me. Saying that we have to talk about why I have a girlfriend that looks the way she does and I look the way I do.
Well, it's about what's on the inside that counts.
I have a great personality.
Yeah, you do. You got. I think you have a great personality, Tyler.
Don't lie to me.
No.
Jake, do I have a great personality?
Yeah, you just said it.
Yeah. What? You think I lied to you?
No, you're my boy. You wouldn't do that, J-Dog.
I would never do that. I'd never do that. I'm always here to prop you up.
Keep me erect.
Yeah. What?
So I think I misused that word. End the podcast.
End the podcast. All right. We'll be back on Sunday after the Red Sox and Detroit Tigers. What does a tiger sound like, Tyler?
Rah!
Yeah. After the Red Sox and the Tigers go toe to toe this weekend. One more time.
Rah!
Yeah. That's what they sound like. Yeah, it's a tiger. We'll be back on Sunday at the conclusion of that series. Enjoy your weekend of baseball, and we'll see you then.
Buenas noches, amigos.